Meg, it's great to be with you.
Good morning, everyone. And we have attribution today. Even the cover is intriguing. So without further ado, I once again bring to you episode number 22 of Amazing Authors. Welcome all. You are going to be highly entertained today. Linda is quite an amazing author as well as personality, like I was saying before, and I have already enjoyed getting to know her for the very short time, but yet this is the first week tomorrow of her debut, Attribution, and this is really exciting because we get her really fresh in the process of publication, so we get to get in touch with all those wonderful feel-good, wonderful feelings. She's got her beautiful, huge debut on Wednesday with all of her fans ready to greet her and celebrate her as she does her book launch at the San Diego Museum on Wednesday. Bravo to you, and bravo to your wonderful, wonderful dream come true. So here we are, everybody. We are an empty room. It's a story waiting to happen, and you are the author, you being anyone out there who's waiting to be inspired by the dreams of someone who's doing it and making it happen. Linda Moore is our star super storyteller, telling the story of how she did it herself. She is literally she calls herself age inappropriate person out there in the world, making dreams come true, her own, as well as inspiring others to do the same, which I am a big fan of, those who inspire others to shine in any way they see fit, how they become a way in this world. So it's good to bring you into this story today, have this conversation today around your book. It's time to celebrate you and your important work. How are you this morning, Linda?
I'm great. For a Monday, I am ready to deal with the week that's coming, and it's sort of coming like a tsunami, but I'm ready.
Well, only when there's good tsunamis coming. I think
yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like bask in the water of life, the waters of life, as they bring you all of the fruits of your labor. I do want to introduce you first and foremost. Your pub day was October 11th, so debut novel at the young age of 75, and this is your fourth or fifth career at this point. You're an author, traveler, and a recovering gallery owner. Studied art history at the Prado, my God, while a student at the University of Madrid, and earned degrees from the University of California and Stanford. So incredibly erudite as well. This is amazing that she's even in the room with me today. Her gallery featured contemporary artists, and she was published award-winning exhibition catalogs. Her writing has appeared in art journals and anthologies. She's looked at art on all continents and visited over 100 countries. She resides with her book collecting husband in California. Listen, whenever you have a book collecting husband, you know that you're matching up with the right person if you're an author, for sure. Her debut novel, Attribution, about an art historian who finds a hidden masterpiece, is now available happily wherever books are sold. So I have to say, one of the things that I loved most is that I knew I was going to love this lady when I first met her via Zoom. She has personality exploding all around. So even if you don't like her books, which I doubt you won't like it because it's fascinating, it's intriguing, and it's all of the above, and I have to keep it back from telling anything that's going to give anything away because it really is a mystery to behold. She is really the story, and that's what I love about this room, because I get to shine a light on her brilliance and her fascinating dreams and all of the above. So tell me, how has it been this last week?
Crazy, really crazy. Jumping around interviews and trying to keep up with all of the various obligations of an author to post and speak, correct, and manage. Does the bookstore have books? All kinds of things that I didn't expect. I thought I only had to write a book, but I was wrong.
No one has to just write a book. That's the joy. Imagine that. The joy is to sit down and write the story as it flows through us. The challenge becomes, how to make sure the world hears about it. And I think that really going to be the beauty of you and how your story unfolds here on out, because it just began, right? You published it, it just began. And now I truly think that in all respects, you are going to be the lighthouse that brings people to learn more about your protagonist. And let me tell you guys a little bit about her book, Attribution. I want to give you a little short synopsis so that you get a little taste. When art historian Kate Ann Adamson leaves her troubled family to complete her doctorate in New York, she finds herself dismissed by her sexist advisor and becomes increasingly desperate to salvage her career. When she finds a hidden painting in her university basement, possibly a 17th century masterpiece, she takes the painting to Spain against her better judgment, then meets Antonio, an impoverished nobleman struggling to restore his family legacy. They join forces to prove who painted the mysterious artwork as Kate fights to change the course of her life. Attribution is a captivating debut with art world revelations, betrayals, and twists about the hidden contributions of women and courage required to reveal the truth. If you go to the back and at the end of the book, she talks about the real story behind the story, which I really love that you brought that into play because of your experience at the Prado, right? And basically all of the wonder that you gained from all the studying about art history that we brought into this book. So tell me, 75, first time published, how long did it take you to write this masterpiece?
Well, that's a question I get from time to time, and I often answer 10 years, but to you, Meg, I answer a lifetime.
A lifetime.
Every novel is autobiographical in some ways, and the more I hear people comment and so forth, I'm like, oh, I didn't remember I wrote that. And it's so much part of my history too, and connecting with this young 23-year-old was not difficult. Now, I think I never grew past 25, really. So in my head, I very much connected with her when I was writing it. And, but I did turn to writing after my children went to college. And that was the first time I started writing fiction. And I entered a contest after I finished my first novel, which was called 5 Days in Bogota, also about an art dealer. And it not only didn't win, I got ruthless feedback from the judges. And I saved that. Actually, I saved it in a drawer. I found it the other day. And I realized, I thanked them because I realized I don't know what I'm doing. So I went back to school.
Not know what we're doing most of the time, right? I love it. Keep going. Thank you.
And I applied to Stanford's novel writing program and amazingly got in. And I spent 2 years learning how to write a novel with some amazing professors. And the novel I wrote in that course was not this novel. This is my third novel, and that's another story. But the truth is, it takes a long time. The bottom line is it takes a long time to write a novel. And that's why most MFA programs don't teach novel, because the semesters, the quarters don't fit with writing novels. And novel writing is about 90% perseverance.
Yeah.
And 10% creativity.
Well, clearly you have tenacity, that's for sure. I certainly would use that word in describing, but not the first adjective I would use to describe you. You have a fantastic flair for living. And one of the things I love and that you talk about at the end of your book with your acknowledgments, it's kind of like the passing of the torch. Your daughter passed you the pen when she, right? Tell the story.
She finished law school. Right.
Love it. Tell me a little bit what happened there. I love it.
Well, so it actually happened after she had her first position. She got a nice job with a big law firm and used her first paycheck to buy me a beautiful Mont Blanc pin and gave it to me. But I think that, with my daughter, it had always been sort of trying to keep the pathways open so that she could go wherever she wanted to go. And when she graduated from law school, they had that hallway full of photographs of all the graduating classes back 100 years or more, whatever. And I walked that with her and pointed out how long it took us before we saw a woman sitting there with a graduating class.
Wow.
And there were a couple that appeared in World War II, and then more and more to her class, where it was about 50-50. And I said to her, that didn't happen by accident. You owe to a lot of women who worked very hard, and now it's your turn to help young women coming behind you who need to chat with someone that might give them guidance or inspiration. And she does that. It makes me very proud, really.
Well, I have no doubt, because she's your daughter first and foremost. But honestly, I think that we are the legacy, that we are living our legacy that we want our children or whoever's watching to be inspired by. And, going back to that point, you call yourself age appropriate. My God, I'm sorry, age inappropriate. You traveled 100 plus countries, Antarctica 3 times, polar plunged. Oh my gosh, that in and of itself. You have the Guinness record holder for first ship that sailed south to latitude 78 degrees south. And then you love life. And one of the things that we were talking about, I think at the outside in the green room, was that, what's the message that you're trying to deliver to the world? Because I think it's really important at your core to have a vision, especially if you're an author, especially if you're bringing out a message or story to share with others.
Well, there is no retirement. Life goes on, and there's always something else. And as long as you have something out there that you aspire to do, and it really doesn't matter what it is. I took on some big things. In fact, last summer I was supposed to go to Mongolia in the Gobi Desert and hunt on horseback with eagles. So unfortunately, going across Russia to get to Mongolia was not in the cards. Yeah. But why not? Why not? And it actually gets easier the older you get to say, why not? Right? Because hopefully people aren't depending on you, that you can just make decisions for what you want to do. And that's hugely liberating. And I guess age inappropriate, my kids they call themselves old souls, and I'm the young soul. And they're always like, Mom, Mom, we can't do that. But we go ahead and try. We want to get into a concert in Spain once, and the tickets were sold out. And I said, well, let's just go find some scalpers and get tickets. And they're like, so I'm roaming around the grounds trying to buy tickets, and they're all like hiding, this is our mother. But anyway, I think the fact that I would aspire to travel so much, and I learned so much, and honestly, the more you move, the easier it is to move. The more things you take on, the easier it is to take on the next thing. And there's so much more out there that I want to do.
Suzanne's saying that, there's so much magic to play with as you create, and it really gets more and more exciting as you go. And I certainly love the circle of creatives that I find myself sitting in most of the times, because, it's kind of like we're the possibility people, it's kind of like, no, why? Don't listen to them. And what you just said was beautiful. The possibilities are endless as long as you believe a little bit more in those dreams you have than you did the day before. Keep going. And that's why you're sitting here a week out facing this huge launch. It's sold out. Your book launch is sold out. But you got to tell the story about the San Diego.
Well, so the spark of inspiration for this novel came about a decade or more ago. I don't remember the exact date, when I was sitting at the San Diego Museum of Art in a big lecture hall, and a young curator was talking about a painting he was trying to attribute. And his journey was riveting to me. Not only all the science and the details of x-rays and things that we have now available to us, but also the political forces that a lot of people have stakes in, whether the decision swings one way or another way. Being right, it turns out, is what reputations and careers are staked on. And so he fought this incredible battle in this story, and I took that away, and I always thought, this is so good that it has to be a novel. It just has to be. And so that was the beginning of the story. And come full circle, I'm having my launch party at the San Diego Museum of Art. And part of the reading and so forth is going to take place in a room where there are Baroque paintings of the very era that I am talking about. I mean, the greats, Murillo, Zurbarán, and Sanchez Cotán, and wonderful, beautiful paintings from that era. And I have 220 people coming. It's beyond sold out now. And I am so excited, and so is the museum staff, because they don't do book launches. And they really don't even sell usually fiction books. But they have a book club, and I'm going to be their book club in February. So I just love connecting the book to the art, because it makes it all feel very real to me.
You wrote in your acknowledgments as well, the singular nature of the pilgrimage of writing. You sit there alone for such a long time with the page, and as the words flow through, obviously the inspiration came from the San Diego Museum. So tip of a hat to those little experiences when you step outside into the creative world. Plus you're an art lover, and you had your own gallery too. So there's lots of stuff that kind of plays around in the story that Linda's going to tell because of what you have lived in your life. So one of the coolest things I want to keep acknowledging is that this full circle moment where you're going to be sitting there with all the people who are coming to hear the story through you, because you're going to be reading, I hope. And at the same time, who knows what kind of sparks of imagination are going to happen there. It's like a very magical playground with all this wonderful theatrical, as if the set is there. You have the paintings and this, that, and the other. You couldn't have, I don't know, did you visualize this before it happened?
No. It's sort of, that saying where you put something out in the universe and things come to you. And actually I had asked a local bookstore, if they would do the book event to launch the book. And they had a lot of conflicts and issues, and it's tough for a new author. So I went looking elsewhere, and it turned out now that bookstore has come back to me and said, will you do another event with us? So I'm loving it, because it was meant to be. It was meant to be that I would go there full circle to the museum and be with so many people. And what is very exciting to me about attribution is the idea that people who don't necessarily have an interest in art realize that these artists were people with all the drama and emotions of any of us, and they lived in their times. They struggled just like I'm struggling to be known as an author. They struggled to be known as painters and have their talent recognized. It's for me, it's like a perfect journey.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, because this is what's coming up over and over again for me, the whole, if you build it, they will come, right? If you write it, they will come. Everyone who's supposed to be there is going to be there. It's as if you put out into the universe what you want, and the universe responds in kind, and we get out of the whole judgment way as to how we thought it was going to unfold, to welcome the beauty of those things that perhaps will take us further than we even thought in the beginning. Like you just said, you pitched the bookstore, they said no, you went this route, and now they want you. So it's kind of like instead of saying, I didn't get what I want, my way, whatever, I go, wow, I'll get curious, something else is going to happen. That's really wonderful. And I think that comes from your wonderful dream mindset, for sure. Because when people see the world like that, the opportunities come to them much quicker. Even if you say the struggling to be known, but it's not that. You just shot out. Like you're out and you're out flying around. People never were able to see you before because you were hiding behind a desk writing it because you had to do the work. But now this is the exciting part. Instead of shifting into the, oh God, what I got now. It's like, look at you, you're gorgeous. You have this.
I don't know about that, Meg. But
no, you are. You absolutely are. I don't lie. I'm not a panderer. I see beauty right where I say it, and I'm going to name it. But the reality I want to ask you, for you, is what is your vision for the next passing of this whole experience? If you had the greatest dream possible for you, what would it be?
I think the biggest success for me comes in little pieces every day when I get an email or a text from someone I didn't even know knew I wrote a book, and they've read it and they're over the moon. I think they had low expectations, but let's leave that aside. But they are stuck by the enjoyment that the book gave them, that they learned something from it, they pulled a little more from it, and I aspire to do that again.
Yeah.
And second novel is coming in 24.
Wow.
And I'm going to keep going. I also would love to see this novel translated into Spanish, because it connects so much. And I've had a lot of people from my second biggest audience on Facebook is from Uruguay.
Oh, wow.
Well, I had a lot of artists in my gallery from the Southern Cone. So I think more people know me as Linda Moore, the gallerist, than Linda Moore, the author, but now they're interested. So I'm excited to travel far again, to connect with people and open the dialogue. The dialogue is a great joy. And I don't need to, clock bestseller on Amazon or whatever. I really, and actually we are clocking, but I won't, it doesn't make me as happy as connecting with people who enjoyed the book.
I will say to this point, the bestseller status is going to help throw your name out there further, because other people are going to start getting curious as to what this is all about. That being said, what you just said is the most important thing I think I'm going to hear this morning, is that the connections that we make, and the connections we make from the messages that we give as we write these books. So what is the biggest message you want people to take away? Not to set any expectations, but the gift of attribution. Once again, everyone, this wonderful, wonderful little book, a novel by Linda Moore. So tell me, what is the gift of attribution?
I believe it is a simple statement. You are worthy. You are worthy. And Kate struggles because her parents have lost a son, and they hung all their hopes on that son, had low expectations for her, and she possibly for herself. And now this circumstance has made her want to go onward and prove to them, mostly because of them. But what she learns in the end is that she is worthy for its own merit, And I just think to give that to people, especially women, to feel their value, and that they can create the life they want and dream.
Wow. Okay, everybody, did you hear what she said? You are worthy by your very own merit. And the bottom line is that once you come from a place of worthiness, there's so many beautiful things that you can offer this world, from that wonderful strength, talents, and gifts that you have. This book is clearly a testament to the journey toward worthiness. But one of the beautiful things I think that it tells me is that where we start from a place of I am like something as special as anyone else in this world. And what your life tells us is the same thing. I mean, just, you have a zest for life, Linda. And I think anyone who does read this book is also going to take away that. There is a overarching, and it's not, you say you were an art gallerist before, for sure. That is a part of your foundation. That's a part of your story as the author, which, that's what we're here to talk about, is amazing author stories. But you've built upon it in so many ways. In fact, you were a former hospital administrator. I mean, that's also a part of your story. You probably learned so many wonderful tenets as to how to organize. I can only imagine, you know.
I I told somebody the other day that I had a timeline Excel spreadsheet that now has about 220 items on it. And I guess, yes, being a hospital administrator helped with that. And by the way, I'd like to just give a shout out to Erin. I saw she joined from Sweden.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Erin. And where she teaches a course at the University of London, I think it is. In any case, yeah, I think that it is always the situation where you pull these pieces from your life. Being a mom taught me a lot. Yeah. And if you want, you know, just the idea of understanding a character, finding the layers of a character is what a mom does every day with her child. And still, I mean, my children are wonderful, responsible citizens, having good lives, beautiful families. And yet, you know, you still are mom, and you still are very much thinking about them. And I think that's what we do about characters. I mean, in a sense, you're the mom to the character.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that truly beautiful that you are the voice by which these people get to be seen in the world? That is so incredibly powerful at the same time. You know, you're wondering where they're taking you. It's kind of this synergistic approach to creation, right? You know?
Yeah, I actually have a little story about that, which may surprise people. So Kate's story is that her brother died. Initially, it was not a big part of the book. And then I decided it really was a big part of Kate. And her brother died in different ways along the trail. And in the end, he died young at a high school crazy party. He drowned. And you may not believe this, but I was some months into the third or fourth draft, and suddenly it hit me that when I was 25, my sister drowned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you're thinking, oh, well, Linda, you know, duh. But I honestly was not thinking about my sister when I wrote that. But I needed to write that. That was in me to be written.
Wow. Wow. You know, once again, the author's story, how impactful, and the healing process, even if you're writing a novel, to be like in service to the story is something incredibly powerful. And I thank you very much for sharing that part of the story, because I would not have known that. And certainly it was an important part for Kate. And the bottom line is, wow, just wow, Linda. We're sitting here on the other end, like a week of just publication, and here you are. And I wanted to read one of the praise that you got from Carolyn Levitt. Desperate for meaning, an art historian searches for a lost painting, finds herself. Gorgeously written and rapturous as a Van Gogh. I mean, come on, even as a gallery, you'd be like, wow, I don't know what kind of high praise that is, but she still goes on to say that your book is a winner. And I am saying that you are, in fact, a winner. What you've done is beautiful. And another one on its way. You're going to have many of your fans just waiting for the next rendition, because you are definitely at 75 debut author. You have arrived, at least in this genre, in this time, in this moment. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am to be a part of this initial launch of you. So when you're super famous, you're going to remember me, Linda. I hope so.
I want to thank you, because I started this week thinking, oh, can I do it? Because what's out there in front of me after the big launch party on Wednesday is jump on a plane Thursday to Seattle to Third Place Books. If anybody's in Seattle, I'm there on Friday night with Josh Moore, an incredible writer, incredible person. And with Josh, nothing will be boring, you can be sure. But I feel so much energy from starting my Monday talking to you. I think I can make it. I think I can make it to next weekend.
I no doubt that you're going to more than make it, for sure. And Suzanne pointed out, you know, it's the beauty of the generosity of the other creatives, the other authors in our circle that really makes this journey even that more poignant and impactful and more fun, for God's sake. You got to have fun while you're doing
Fun.
it.
That is my new motto. If it ain't fun, it ain't worth it. I'm having fun. Absolutely.
So I love this question because it always brings it home for me as an amazing author. What do you want people to walk away with thinking when they think of Linda Moore? What do you want them to associate?
Well, a quick story. A few years back, a couple decades ago, I went to a conference that was celebrating the Golden Door and Deborah Zake, who is now 100 years old, a pioneer in wellness. And the speakers talked about being older and these gray-haired people riding bicycles, all active, and then these people slumped over in wheelchairs. And of course, the punchline was the people in the wheelchairs were younger than the people on bicycles. And they asked the audience what made the difference. And people shouted out nutrition, exercise, genes, all of this. And those are important, but not the differentiator. The answer, have dreams. I wrote it on great big capital letters, have dreams. If you have something out there, then you will continue to go, and use every bit of your precious life. And I want people to know I so believe in that. And if you think it's all behind you, it probably is. So put it out there in front of you and go for it. Why not? Why not?
Wow. So on this Monday morning, October 17th, the message that we're going to associate when we read Attribution and Onward is you are worthy and have dreams. Linda, you are definitely worthy. You're an amazing author. I'm grateful to be a part of this dream come true. Just so small, but I'm here cheering you on. Certainly, everyone go out and grab this book. Where can they find it, my friend?
You can find it in your favorite bookseller. Also, of course, online, all of the various places. It should be widely accessible for you to read. And let me know what you think. I'm there. My email's there. My website's there. And lindamoreauthor.com. I love to hear from readers. Love it.
Well, I could talk to you forever, and our time is up at this point, but I just want to make sure that all of you know that I have read the book. It's wonderful. And at this point in time, reach out to Linda. Where can they find you? Where is your connection place? At your website or?
Yes, I'm all over the place, everywhere but Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I have some amusing workout videos, which is very fun.
Yes.
And I actually got more fit because I was doing these reels. And so lindamoreauthor.com connects to everything else, lindamoreauthor.com.
Okay, everybody. So go reach out to her, lindamoreauthor.com. I think she sold out on Wednesday, but maybe she won't turn you away if you show up at San Diego Museum. And it will happen. But if you want to get up close and personal to this beautiful author, beautiful woman, wonderful inspiration for the rest of us, you know, follow her, try to show up wherever she's showing up. If you're in Seattle, go check her out. And, you know, we're all here to support each other, support you. I have loved watching this journey since the first time I met you at the beginning of your cohort. I will set forth that books do, in fact, change lives. Great writing does, in fact, stir our emotions, makes us feel, and authors who are vulnerable to the extent that they are changing the world, they make the difference. So keep making a difference with your word, with your beauty, with your light, with your shine. I'll bring that in because I've been shining since yesterday.
Oh, hey, look, Meg, look.
Ah, the butterflies! I love it. That's awesome. And butterflies. Get ready to dazzle. I believe in you. Linda believes in you. We hope to meet you in the author room once again, wherever we show up speaking about our book, preaching words that perhaps would inspire you as well. So I'll give you the final word, my friend Linda. Go for it.
Go out and dazzle them. Dazzle them.
Dazzle them. That's right. That's right. Go out and dazzle them. And episode 22 is now a wrap. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, Linda. This has been incredibly delightful. I can't wait to have another conversation with you for sure.
Love it. We'll love it.
Have a good one. Bye, everybody.